Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Fitness Friday Posi-TIPS with Rachelle. Folks, I want to keep this whole concept, even though we're on a new series here on the importance of self-image. Is your self-image a blessing or a curse in your life and on your fitness journey? Folks, I want to continue to highlight whenever possible, just going back to this whole series, this long series that I did on the value of competitive analysis. Always want to keep examples in front of you. Recognize if you're not on it when it comes to your competitors, you're missing the boat. You're just going to end up in a situation that you don't want to end up in. And so folks, I want to quickly share here an email that I received on September 4th. Didn't print out the email. I'm a tree hugger, so I try to write things out as much as possible. So I received an email from Leslie Matsukaitis, and she's the owner of Funk Financial in Novi-Michigan, one of our suburbs here. And I knew Leslie a few years ago. Some of you know, I was involved with Walsh College when they had their leadership center a few years ago as one of their speakers and trainers for that particular entity within the university or the college, and Leslie was as well. Now at the time she was working with some of the commercial banks, Comerica, one of the banks at the time, and she worked with businesses in terms of generating funding for those folks. And so long story short, I received this email. She sent this email out, and here's what it said. One of the relationships I have is a startup athletic franchise. They need to buy or lease a 50,000 square foot building in the Commerce area, Commerce, Michigan, right here. You know that I'm a member of the Planet Fitness, which I call the PF Country Club in Commerce, Michigan. This particular franchisee is looking for 50,000 square feet in Commerce. And so my reply to that was, not sure what the timing is. It sounds kind of urgent, but earlier this year, there was approval for I want to say it was close to $100 million or a little bit more than $100 million development. A new development is going to be coming to the south end of Commerce, which will be closer, certainly close to Lifetime Fitness. So I've been thinking future forward of what, are there going to be any fitness competitors that try to take on Lifetime? But it would have to be one of the lower cost chains, such as a LA Fitness, Crunch Fitness, Blake Fitness possibly. It'd be interesting, is a Planet Fitness possibly going to build a second location in the south end of Commerce to take advantage of this new huge development that's coming? We'll see. Stay tuned. But this is just an example. So here we are in Commerce, and I would argue that Commerce, Michigan, there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of potential. You got higher incomes. You got there's a lot of amenities and benefits, and it's underdeveloped from a fitness perspective in terms of fitness options. So there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of options, a lot of building. You can look at some of the building reports and new home sales and new home development, just a lot of strong economic indicators for that particular suburb. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for folks to come on in, but this is an example. We've got someone looking for a facility there and just had to show that. And so be on top of stuff in your particular market. You notice my ears and eyes are always open. I'm always thinking about, okay, who's the next competitors? What's going on in this market? So it's always fun and exciting to me. And so folks, that was that. But I want to quickly jump on in here to couple of my most recent Planet Fitness adventures to the Ford Road location in Dearborn. So had a wonderful couple of visits there actually. August 16th, went in that morning as I attended. That was the last day of the Detroit Lions training camp. As you see, I'm actually a Saints fan, but I do live here in Metro Detroit, so I do support all of our teams here. But my particular purpose for going to that training camp, actually any training camp by the Lions here, as long as I've lived here, never been to a Lions game, but certainly wish them well. But I was there to study and observe from a leadership perspective, watching the position coaches, watching how the players responded to them, watching the nonverbal body language. I'm always exposing myself to leadership lessons. So had a wonderful time at training camp observing, but also had a wonderful time working out. Went in, Denise was attacking the floor, cleaning her heart out, and actually just had a good experience that day. But on September 27th, I was on my way, about to take the train, leaving from Dearborn, the Amtrak train, to Chicago for a couple of days to go back on campus at Northwestern for a leadership symposium for alumni. And at this time, or actually that second time, Denise was holding down the front desk, and a couple of her coworkers were attacking the floor with fantastic teamwork and collaboration. Just fantastic teamwork and collaboration. And I saw that a couple of times, and it just made me smile. Because one thing you often hear me say, folks, is particularly those of you in leadership roles in fitness facilities, control what you can control. Control what you can control. There's a lot of things that are outside of your control. A major competitor moves down the street for you. A major competitor opens up in your market just in general. And in this particular case, as you've heard me highlight before, You've got Crunch Fitness, which is a major competitor that's certainly bringing a lot of competitive pressure here to our Metro Detroit area, but right down the street from this particular Planet Fitness. And it was good to see them just working their heart out, doing their best to keep that facility in tip-top shape and spotless, and just was so proud of them. But just had a wonderful experience, just a fantastic, continue to see that, which I actually expect now when I walk into a PF Michigan Group owned facility here in Metro Detroit. I expect to see, and it's always just that teamwork and collaboration. And those overnight crews are just fantastic. So I'm walking in at 4 something, early 5 something in the morning. I'm seeing that great teamwork and collaboration. Folks doing what they can to make those facilities look good and certainly demonstrate that purple pride, which is always great to see. And so, folks, I want to move on along here, moving along really quickly here, moving on. Once again, the importance of self-image. Now, as I promised, this particular episode, and somebody actually, about 2 or 3 people, 3 people in total, contacted me after last episode and said, you know what, this is really helpful. Self-image is something that everybody struggles with. And so can you spend some more time and not make this a short series? So I agreed. And so I'm actually going to make this 5 or 6 parts, 5 or 6 episodes. And I'm shifting things around a little bit in terms of the episodes I planned for the rest of the year. So what I'm going to do is actually, my longer leadership series was going to be Gym Leadership No-Nos is actually going to be postponed. And that will be around the 2nd week of January after the new year. And so I'm going to do some again, non-leadership episodes before then, but I'm also going to have a couple of episodes for a leadership episode. My last leadership short series of about 2 episodes is going to be on sales. Again, not just the sales advantage, not looking at it from a macro perspective, but from a micro perspective in terms of how the sales process is working in your particular facility and how, what's happening in the sales arena and some of more the tactical stuff, of qualifying people. When people know how to qualify people when they come in the door. Are they probing? Are they asking questions? Are they closing and asking the people to join? Going to be covering that at the end of the year. So that's going to be my last leadership series and a Christmas present to you. But this episode, folks, what do you believe you deserve? All right. What do you believe you deserve in life? Okay. What do you believe you deserve in life? Because if you've been struggling for a long time, or if you've been successful, the results, and it's something, there's a wonderful quote by Dr. Phil. I just love Dr. Phil. Don't you just love his show? But Dr. Phil says, when it comes to our personal truth, the results that we get in life are based on what we believe we deserve. Okay, so if you're struggling in your fitness, if you're struggling in your life, if you're struggling in any of all aspects of your life, what do you believe you deserve? Do you believe that you deserve good things, or do you believe that you deserve unhappiness, defeat, stress, mediocrity? That's all a function of what we believe. The people the emotionally healthy people that believe they deserve good and great things in life. Okay, we're all human. We're all human. We all have problems and issues, but those folks have made a conscious decision. All right, that I believe I deserve to be happy at work, happy in my marriage, happy in my relationship, happy at work, happy in my friendships. I believe I deserve to have a great workplace, a great loyal staff that is free of drama and backstabbing and mediocrity and turnover. All right, what do you believe you deserve? What do you believe that you deserve in life? And this is so important in fitness. And folks, the same stuff I tell you, I tell myself. That's one thing people know, that I'm a woman of integrity. I'm a woman that does not believe in phoniness and just getting on here telling you one thing and living my life completely opposite. Absolutely not. All right, I face the same struggles and challenges that everyone else faces. But the only difference is I plow through things and just make things happen and recognize I can't even say very little tolerance. I have 0 tolerance for nonsense and mediocrity in my life. And that's just, again, that's, years of confidence and inner security building and development that has got me to this point. But folks, life is so short. Life is so short. And I'm going to get a little personal on this episode, and I'm going to read from my journal talking about recognizing what you believe you deserve. So to quickly recap, many of you know, and actually I have new people that tune in all the time, but I was a member of Powerhouse Gym in Novi for 5 years. And so that was June 2012 when Valley Fitness, I'm a member of Valley Fitness in Novi. Valley Fitness walked up that morning, tried to open the door, and there was a note on there that they had closed. So left Valley, June 2012, left Powerhouse, June 2017. So 5 years, actually joined Planet Fitness on June 28th. All right, and so this is an entry, my journal. This is from June 30th, 2017 at 8:20 a.m. So listen to what I said, folks. Woo! It's Fitness Friday. I really need to journal more. Well, I joined Planet Fitness on Wednesday. I am so happy to have taken this step. The mediocrity at Powerhouse is off the charts. I am pondering leaving entirely. The most important thing is I took another step towards positive change. I don't have to be unhappy. All right, I don't have to be unhappy. The mediocrity was off the charts. All right, and so folks, right here from my journal, there it is. All right, I had a decision to make. All right, I was no longer happy. With all due respect, the founder of the franchise actually bought that location from Paul Wright. It was formerly Fusion Fitness. Bought that location. So with all due respect to all the folks there and all of that, but it was what it was, and I had a decision to make. All right, so I joined Planet on the 30th, was still a member of Powerhouse, but ultimately canceled that membership on July 11th, 2017. So I had a few days to kind of evaluate and judge what was going on, to see what was, was I comfortable enough or was I going to go to Lifetime? So I had a decision to make. But anyway, joined Planet Fitness in Novi, had some good experiences and just, that was certainly a great introduction to the franchise. As I mentally had planned, to join that location, I was going to transfer my membership to Farmington Hills, Michigan. That was going to be my club. That was going to be my permanent club. But as you all know, actually in December of 2017, transferred my membership to the PF Commerce Country Club is what I call it, Planet Fitness in Commerce, Michigan. And actually, I can't wait in a few weeks to tell you about my visit to the Planet Fitness location of Bloomfield Hills, because that, of course, is the PF Bloomfield Hills Country Club as well. So can't wait to tell you about that. But anyway, been at the Commerce Club. It's almost a year now. Time is flying so quickly. But how I ended up at that club, and people ask me, like, you drive that far to go to the gym? It's so funny. But when you're passionate about something, when you believe, you this is something, folks, I'm always asking myself. Those of you who know me personally, I'm always evaluating my life. Am I happy? Is this working? Is this the best I can do in this situation? Is this, what's going on here? And so ultimately, been at that club and having a great time with all my PF adventures. But how I ended up at that club, and so you all have heard me say, I'm just really so thrilled with my Black Card membership that allows me to go to all different locations. So in addition to being able to work out at different locations, I'm actually able to stop and use the restroom at these locations. So I know I can count on some good clean bathrooms as opposed to stopping at some random McDonald's or some random Walmart or something like that. You never know what you're going to get, but I can always count on a good clean bathroom at Planet. And so had stopped off in the summer of 2017. It stopped at the PF Dearborn on Ford Road that I highlighted earlier in this episode, the Planet Fitness location here in Livonia, Michigan on 7 Mile Road. And then lastly, stopped off at the Planet Fitness in Commerce. And so I was actually in Waterford, Michigan that morning and passed by, with all due respect, that Waterford, Michigan location of Planet Fitness based on online reviews. I'm about to read one now that just pushed me, just whatever, turned me off. And so anyway, Moody was at that front desk. You all heard me talk about Moody, and Moody actually ironically on September 12th this year, Moody stopped by. Moody was actually working super early. I'm there 4-ish in the morning to 6-ish in the morning. Typically leave sometimes between about 6:45 and 7 is when I leave. And so Moody was there. I was so surprised. Hadn't seen him in months because, again, I shifted my workout even earlier because that makes the rest of my day far more productive when I do that. So it was good to see him at the front desk. I was surprised, good to see ya. We're on different shifts and, whatever, this and that. How you doing? Whatever. And he said, well, and there was this pregnant pause. And I said, okay, he's leaving. See, based on my life and my own life experiences, I've been moved different places and other people moved when I've been there and I've been left behind. I know how this conversation about somebody leaving is about to start. So I knew he was going to tell me he was leaving. Long story short, he did. Hey, my family's already relocated to Minnesota and that's where I'm from. So we're going to be closer to my parents and, they can have great relationships with the grandkids. And it was wonderful, Moody. I wish you all the best. And, it's great to cross paths at this club and this and that. And said goodbye and but it was that was a moment of coming full circle, because I thought to myself when I walked out of there, got in my car, I was thinking like, wow, man, he does not know just that positive impact that he had on me, where ultimately I ended up transferring my membership to this gym. But like I said, I was in Waterford one summer morning, 2017, and passed by that location. I had to go to the bathroom. But based on the online reviews, there's some harsh reviews that I would actually, several of them, I noticed a pattern. That's one thing I'm always, when you see me looking for reviews, I'm looking for patterns of what people are they constantly complaining about the same thing? And from a pattern perspective, you've heard me talk about this whole concept as it relates to Planet of either facilities being, because it is very compliance driven. The Planet is definitely the most compliance driven in the fitness industry. All right, very tough facilities, very tough policies and procedures, and it's just, it's a lot there. It's a lot there. So I've determined that I've written case studies. I'm not going to get into all of this, but facility comfortably compliant. Okay, following the rules. Members are comfortable. Members aren't going on to the online reviews complaining. Facebook, Google Plus, Yelp, all of those. They're not going on there complaining about confrontations with employees about, okay, this is a compliance issue, go and say something to that person and it not ending well. Okay, so comfortably compliant, they're following the rules, everything is fine, but people aren't, they're just not, for lack of a better word, ticking people off. All right, and so conversely, you've got uncomfortably compliant, where you see clubs that have just these plethora of online negative reviews about, this person said this and this person confronted me and they were rude and they were this and that. But anyway, so confrontation is tough, and I would argue too, just even from a compliance standpoint, when you have a very compliance-driven culture, and I think that's just part of the challenge, and this is a whole HR issue of you got to have a lot of training around confrontation because people don't confront well, and then conversely, people typically don't handle confrontation well. So it's just a big challenge for in any situation, regardless of what type of, not even facility it is, what type of relationship or workplace. Confrontation is just tough. And so I saw a pattern on Google Plus and Yelp reviews for the Waterford, Michigan Planet Fitness location, with all due respect to the people at that particular club. But I saw some reviews and I said, just even before, this was within my first week of joining, like, okay, this one is off limits. When I just see these reviews, and I've seen them for 4 or 5 different clubs as I've looked, I'm like, no, I've got other options. I'm going to go to other options. So this is one. I said there were several with uncomfortably compliant patterns that I saw. And this is one that just really, when I saw this, it really just kind of just touched me so much. It's by Todd S., again, for the Waterford, Michigan Planet Fitness. So 5 years ago, he gave it 1 star and said, on my second day as a member, I apparently dropped a dumbbell, which made a thump noise. Next thing I know, a siren goes off and a really condescending 18-year-old kid comes over to me and scolds me about their no dropping the weights policies that I didn't even know about. I can think of many different ways to let a new member know that we don't like you dropping the weights than a loud siren that singles you out. How about just no siren to start? IMHO, which means in my honest opinion. All right. And so I saw that. The other ones were bad enough, but then I saw that. And it just, if you can just go back to, again, when you're struggling with your self-image, when you don't, just how that person felt. How ridiculed and embarrassed. It's just right there. You could just tell, the siren going off. And I told you I'm going to do an orphan episode on the lunk alarm, just the complexities of the lunk alarm. And I just saw that and my heart just went out to him because I'm like, man, there was a lot of times where I would have been just put out or just beside myself of something like that, public shaming. That's exactly what that is. You've heard me allude to that term, public shaming, in that New York Times article that I cited a few weeks ago, on how they described them on that article that they had, that story they had, that article on the lunk alarm. And so, folks, that really touched me. And when I saw that, the other ones were challenging enough, and I saw that and I was like, off limits, not going. So that's how I ended up passing by that location, and the Planet Fitness Commerce Club was literally on my way home. And I said, let me stop in there and use the bathroom. And Moody was at the front desk and had such a positive attitude and was at ease. And it was just fantastic experience. But folks, that's a situation where I look at these reviews. Is this the best I can do in this situation? Is there multiple clubs? What is the best one right here? What are these people complaining about? Are people complaining? Are they not complaining? Is this, with billing issues and all of that? I don't care. People complaining about staff being rude. I don't care. All right. The place, the facility itself, the layout, the size, all of that is what is important to me. And I'm always looking for that, for signs of complaints on that lunk alarm. Always looking for that. Because when I see that, particularly multiple ones, I'm not going in. Like, I don't care, because I know that's just that loud noise that just comes out of nowhere and it's startling. I'm just not doing that. I'm just not doing that. And so fortunately, like I said, hey, I've only heard it go off once. Actually, my second week in Novi, it was Saturday morning, it went off, 2017. So that was July 2017. I have not heard it again. And I've been in a number of different locations in different states now, making my rounds. So I think franchisees are recognizing, from a marketing standpoint, you do not want to have that. That's just creating an environment where it's just loud and just whatever. But anyway, Had a wonderful experience there. Transferred my membership there, as you've heard me say before. And I'm just on all of these different PF adventures, and I continue to grow and learn and be challenged. One thing my Planet Fitness membership is I'm constantly intellectually and professionally challenged, by situations, and again, reading reviews, and okay, what is this pattern of reviews saying? Okay, this is uncomfortably compliant behavior right here. This is comfortably compliant behavior here. Just I'm having wonderful experience and learning so much. I'm writing case studies like you wouldn't believe, folks, behind the scenes. It's just fantastic. And going to different clubs. And next time I'm going to tell you about my visit to the Oklahoma City and Yukon, Oklahoma locations. And then we've got Shreveport and Bossier City again. And then Bloomfield Hills. And then a couple of a Chicago club. A couple of visits there. So the PF adventures I continue to just enjoy. And I love just seeing the variation of just how things are handled, the different layouts and all of that, different amenities at different clubs. Can't wait to tell you all about them, folks. But it all goes down to the key issue of what you believe you deserved. Folks, I could still be a powerhouse gym in Novi right now, miserable, unhappy, and tolerating mediocrity in my life. All right, so folks, I had a decision to make. So I'm challenging you right now. What decisions do you have to make? Do you have decisions to make? If you do, then what are you going to do about them? Because don't run around complaining to anyone who will listen. Your friends and family, don't wear them out with your negativity and complaints. You got to take positive action. It's going to require courage. It's going to require, again, I've had a situation where I've moved around a lot. So that fear of the unknown is not something that I struggle with. But again, it was comfortable for me. It was comfortable. All right, less than a mile from my house. I could be a powerhouse in 90 seconds. Super close. All right, so I was comfortable. So I had to shake myself out of that. And recognize that, hey, there's better situations, all right? I used to get heat rashes in the summer months. And these Planet clubs, I don't care which one I go to, just fantastic in terms of managing their temperature control. Just fantastic, all right? And the franchise has a lot of strengths. And so I'm just so pleased, and just the ability, knowing that the two most important things of my personality, needing change and liking change. And number two, freedom. I don't like being tied down. I don't like being tied down. I like to have options. And so my Black Card membership, in terms of being able to go to different clubs and have different appointments, I had a couple I had to see a nurse practitioner regarding my allergies. My physician was out of town for 3 weeks for her son's wedding. I went and saw a nurse practitioner I knew years ago that used to be one of my customers when I was in medical sales. She's out in Milford, so I was able to go to the Milford Club because it's close by, right across the street from that CVS Minute Clinic I went to. So just having options. So folks, I'm closing with this. Recognize, I don't care if you live in a small city with one facility. You don't have to tolerate nonsense. You've got Peloton bikes. You've got, online resources where you can do classes. You can project them on your home TV. You can watch them on your tablet. Whatever the case, you can go out and walk. All right, you can go out and run. You can do whatever. Just recognize you don't have to tolerate nonsense, but be willing to shake yourself out of your comfort zone and move forward in a positive direction towards the happiness that I believe you deserve. But do you believe you deserve it? Only you can answer that question. So I look forward to continuing this conversation next time. So until then, thanks so much for your time, and make it a wonderfully fit day.